Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, just to let you know, this is now the 5th attempt at doing this video. It's been raining really super hard all morning here, all morning. And the temperature has actually gone up through the roof. Rain, heat, humidity. It's like being back in the jungle again. So, idiot here opened the back door and then the conservatory door. And what happened? Yes, the Jeff Goldblums came in. A swarm of them. I spent ages driving them back out into the wild. Actually, I killed a couple of them as well. I won't shed any tears over that. The shit eaters that they are. And I thought I'd done the job. Started doing a video. The biggest one of the pack was still here. Shut the video off. Tried to drive him out the airlock, like the xenomorph. Thought I'd done it. Clearly hadn't. You run the risk of you try to drive them back out again, but as you're doing that, maybe another one comes in. Maybe you've got rid of him, but another one's swapped over. So there is another noisy distraction other than myself in the vicinity. Bastard. There's also a husky who is asleep at the moment but won't be for long. But anyway, folks, that was a bit of housekeeping for you there. Outland. Not Outlander, in case any of you have misread the video title. It's not Outlander. Even though, oh hey, I'm wearing a kilt, the Ramsey blue. Oh, look at that. There's a little pale knee. A Ramsey blue and a pale white knee. Outland from 1981. An absolute classic sci-fi space western. You could call it High Moon because it's very definitely inspired by Fred Zinnemann's fantastic Gary Cooper starring 1952 masterpiece High Noon. It's modelled on that, but it's also modelled even more on, yes, you guessed it, Alien, which had come out 2 years prior. Now, Outland by director and writer Peter Hyams is an absolute firm favourite of mine. I watch it regularly and I've always adored it. I saw it at its first local premiere after it hit London. It was about a week later it hit all the provinces, but I was there and I loved it. It blew me away, in fact, and I've adored it ever since. And I've name dropped it many times and referenced it many times in videos over the years. I have reviewed it on other media in the past, but because I've name dropped it a lot, that's one of the two reasons I think that people have asked me for years, will you review Outland? And I've always meant to. I thought, yeah, of course I will. I've got to love it. God, I'll do it. But then when I'm about to do the Outland review, I'm going to do it on tomorrow. Yeah, news will break about some other movie coming out or something will happen, and I've got to do a video on that first, and then that kind of steers you away from Outland. So it's gone on like this for a long time. But I know many of you lately have been saying, will you review Outland? Okay, I'll do it now. As long as you don't mind, you know, Mr. Buzzy shitface flying around, you know, and me imbibing liberally of this stuff. I mean, like Outland, Conam 27 on the first moon of Jupiter, Io. You know, the booze isn't watered down, as facility administrator Mark Shepherd does tell us. Cheers, y'all. We're playing Jay Goldsmith's score to Outland. And as you can see, there's a lot of outlandy things. Outlandy. I don't have any posters for it, any canvases. And I've been using the alien canvases a lot lately, talking about Alien Romulus and other alien stuff. So I thought, well, I'm not going to do that again. But I'll put Highlander over there because it's got Sean. Oh yeah, Sean Connery is in there. And he is the star of this movie. Outland. A mining colony on Jupiter's moon of Io. They're boosting productivity. They're doing great guns, yeah, but there's a spate of suicides. New Federal District Marshal William T. O'Neill, played by Sean, arrives there with his wife and his young son. It's another tour of duty for him in these piss water, fucking horrible places where you can't go outside without a pressure suit on, you know, and if you do, you'll broil and explode, as happens. And they're there, another tour, and he's got to have his little tete-a-tete with Mark Sheppard. You know, my people work hard. Because they work so hard, I let them play hard. So when the time comes to have some steam, you've got to give them some space. And Sean's like that. Yeah, okay, yeah. He's a stickler for the rules, is Mr. Marshall. And he discovers that there's very bad things afoot on this mining colony. They're mining ore from Io. Again, very similar to Alien. It's blue collar workers, blue collar tugboat drivers from interstellar space in Alien, hauling a big refinery back to Earth, intercept, you know, a distress call. You know what happens next. Well, the company in that were the bastards. Yeah, the Xenomorph was pretty badass as well, but the company themselves were, well, you know, we need him for the weapons division. So, you know, all other priorities rescinded, you know, crew expendable. Ah, there you go. And it's not too dissimilar from this. The ideas from Alien and High Noon, the Western, bleed into this massively. So, you've got a company, Con-Amalgamated, Con-Am 27, because that's 27 is the designation of Io's mining colony. So Con-Am 27, but Con-Amalgamated don't give two fucks about their workers. Oh, give them hookers, give them booze, give them all sorts, but make them work for bonuses. But are they going to get those bonuses because they're pumping them full of drugs? Yes, illegal drugs, illegal amphetamines, which boost them to fucking Trojan fucking strength. Oh, you know. And they work hard and have loads of fun for 6 months or so. But after that, psychosis, insanity, suicidal and homicidal tendencies will ensue. Oh dear, there's shit afoot on Con-Am 27. So Marshal Sean Connery arrives and hang on, straight away you've had deaths, and he's like, hang on a minute. The first death that we see, we've got some miners out on air. The film opens. Again, you've got a very similar sort of thing to Alien, where it tells you, like, there's Nostromo. No, not Nostromo. Not that movie. Con-Am 27, mining colony, Io, you know, crew, blah, 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 you know, and population, this, that, and the other, and what they're mining. And little readouts very similar. The similarities to Alien are off the scale. But it's great because I think it works in the same universe, and it definitely does. It's not meant to. They've done it deliberately, but it's not part of the Alien Weyland-Yutani universe. But it may as well be. It also fits into the Blade Runner thing as well, a little bit. But it's all lived in, it's all claustrophobic, it's they're working Joes, and you know, they've all got the same issues. But our film starts off with, there's miners. They've got these arc lights and welding fucking torches. There's lots of blue fizzing lights and things. And they're working on these couplings or whatever on the superstructure of the mining thing itself. And these guys are arguing, you know, I told Wooten, you know, they're doing double shifts there. And like, but they're bringing these automated couplers in. And like, oh, you know, that's going to eliminate shifts. Well, what did Wooten say? Well, Wooten said zip. He said total zip. I know two people called Wooten around here, and they're both called Steve Wooten. Both. How does that happen? How does that happen? Anyway, cheers to all the Steve Wootens out there. I'm sure there's many more. But then you've got, what's his name? Oh my God. From Cheers, Cliff Claiborne. Oh, John Ratzenberger. John Ratzenberger is this guy who set off from the other ones, and he's giving it loads, and suddenly he's going, oh, spiders. I don't like spiders. Oh, get it off me. They're outside, they're in atmosphere, pressure suits and all that. Get it off me. And these other two who've been arguing about like the bonus situation it may as well be. And they go like, what are you on about, Tardo? There's no spiders out here. What's wrong with you, man? You know, and like, he cuts into his suit with his welder because he thinks he's covered in spiders. Think Hellraiser, Hellbound, you know, that guy who thinks he's covered in bugs and spiders and starts slicing himself open. He does this at the lack of atmosphere and the broiling, horrible, you know, content that there is in this atmosphere makes him, he explodes, his face expands, and his eyeballs pop into the faceplate of his space helmet. That's John Ratzenberg, that's Cliff Clavin. That's gone there. John Ratzenberger was living in London at the time, and this whole thing is filmed in Pinewood Studios, and like Alien was as well. And he was doing a lot of work in big movies at that time. He was in A Bridge Too Far as well, a film which my father was in, but was cut out of, which I've discussed many times. How the world works, eh? My dad was just so made up to be in it, having supplied uniforms for it, and then turned up in one of his own uniforms, and he cut off the frame. Anyway, that's beside the point. But John Ratzenberger was in that. He was in Gandhi. He was in, oh God, what else was he in? He was in a load of movies at the time. He's in Superman as well. And he's in a lot of stuff. And then Cheers made his name. And then he stupidly went into House 2, the second story. Oh dear, Johnny boy. But, so he kills himself. And then we've got introduced to Marshall O'Neill, his beleaguered wife and son. His son's great. His son, he's got new braces and all that. Like, keep your braces on. You want crooked teeth, you know. And they have lots of little debates. Keegan Markham plays Carol, who's Sean Connery's wife in this. She was on the set for like literally, I think, a day, maybe 2 days at most. And she only has a few scenes in it, but they're pivotal scenes though, because it shows the home life. She's been dragged around with the son to her husband's little tour of duty here, there and everywhere, always in the arsehole of wherever, never a good place. And as she says, look, he's never breathed, you know, oxygen on Earth. He's never been to Earth. He needs to go to Earth. And like, I'm sick of all this. You know, what do you think you're achieving here? We do get the impression, although it's not actually said categorically, that Marshall O'Neill has he won't toe the line. But we know he won't do it in this. But he's clearly done it before. He's clearly blown the gaff on corporate conspiracy and lies and deceit, and because he's done that, he's kind of shunned. It's not said really clearly, but the inference is there. But he's a man of principle, and he won't let things lie. If it's wrong, I'm going to call it out, and I'm going to stop it as well. Don't care who's in charge of you. The law is the law, and I know what's right and what's wrong, and I'm going to pull you down. But because of that, you get the inference that he's been drafted there because, right, let's get rid of this guy, just fucking won't shut up. Get him out to the ass end of the fucking universe. Fucking boot him out. So he's there on Io. But of course, he's thrust into an environment where, look, they're getting drugs in to boost their productivity, and it kills them, it makes them homicidal or suicidal, and he's going to suss onto this. He's going to kick ass. So it's a bad move on the part of the company, Con-Am. You know, cheers, y'all. So you have suicides, and he speaks to Dr. Lazarus, played by Frances Sternhagen, and she's amazing. She was about 51 at the same time as he was as well, Sean Connery. And Sean's looking amazing as well. Like, hairpiece or not, who cares? He looks amazing. He's gone grey, he's got a beard, and he looks fucking amazing. And the two of them have a begrudging relationship. They initially, look, why has he died? What happened here? What's going on? How many suicides did you get? Well, in this place, you get tons of suicides. People go stir crazy. It's just, look, you know, what do you want from me? I'm just a company medical officer. I'm just one shuttle flight from, you know, a medical malpractice suit. You know, that's what she says. And she's older and well weary and cynical and funny as well. And the two of them do not get along. You know, like when he first arrives in their doctor's facility, the medical lab, he's like, oh, what do you want? Just take 2 aspirin and call me in the morning. That's a doctor's joke. But at the end of their little first debate, he says like, I want the reports on this. I want the stats on this by tomorrow morning. If I don't get them, I'm going to kick your nasty ass all around this room. That's a Marshall joke, you know. But it's brilliant. And they will have to become firm friends. They will begrudgingly become to respect each other. And like, look, I need you to learn all the stuff behind this drug that's doing these things to people. And let's fine tune this conspiracy. Let's work it all out. And he'll respect her, but she'll come to save him at the end of the day as well. Because throughout the course of all this, Carol, in the early parts of the movie, Carol takes the son on the next shuttle back to Earth. They're going to, you know, a space station, and they're going to get the next shuttle back. But he doesn't know this until he comes home from work, and there's a little voice or a video message for him saying that she doesn't want to do this, but she can't live in this atmosphere anymore, or lack of atmosphere, living in cramped boxes, little cubicles and all that. She can't do it, and it's not right for the son. Please, but she loves him. She's not leaving him. She's leaving this setup. She understands it's his job, but if you know the movie, you know what this is. They have a recreation room. It's just a sleazy saloon. It's a western in space, let's be honest. And you have these glass tubes which are filled with blue lasers and mist. And you've got people shagging in them. You haven't got strippers, you've got shaggers just doing it. And everyone's just sitting there and drinking. No one's even looking at this stuff like going on. But there's several tubes. And we'll talk about the score later. But this is great, super sleazeball music, it is. And it's not Jerry Goldsmith either, who does the entire score for the movie, but doesn't do these bits. Because his stuff didn't really work. Wasn't quite right. So they brought in other people, Morton Stevens and Michael Bodiger, to do this stuff. Which does make it sound sleazy. But so, you know, there's a message off it like, look, I can't stay with this. I can't do it anymore. But please, I've got a third ticket on the shuttle back to Earth. Come and meet us at the space station, and we'll go back to Earth together as a family. And Sean Connery's brilliant in this movie. There's been many people that have said it's one of his best performances. Well, you know, I don't know. Sean Connery's never given a bad performance, as far as I've been saying. He just hasn't. He is Sean Connery. No matter what he does, he is Sean, the big Tam, he was known as. So, but he sits there and he contemplates this on his own in the little cramped living quarters that they as a family had. Everyone else lives in like these horrible little like those Japanese hotels, pods, what do you call them, where you just go in and it just in bunk, 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 bunk to the ceiling, and then it's like bunk, bunk, bunk. Same again in this. Realistically, that's how it would be. It's all like wire mesh, and people just get on the bunk and like turn the stuff over. And the ones who've got the super drug are doing this, work hard the next day, and then go fucking loopy-loo and attack hookers. So you got Stephen Burkoff a Shakespearean actor at this time. He's also in Rambo First Blood Part 2 as the Russian commander there. He was also in Vikings as well. Been in many things. Beverly Hills Cop, for God's sake. He plays Sagan, one of many names derived from scientists and astronauts. Lowell, Ballard, Sagan. There's a few more, I'm sure there is. But he plays Sagan, who goes fucking ape shit. And he's got a prostitute there in his room, but he's got a knife. And I'll slice her, I'll cut her up, I'll do this. Oh. He's great, actually. He's very frightening, to be honest. Now, Sean Connery and his beleaguered bunch of deputies his second in command is Sergeant Montone, played by the great James B. Sicking. James B. Sicking turned on the head his character from Hill Street Blues with this. He was the SWAT team commander in Hill Street Blues, and he was great. It was smoking a pipe, and he was OTT in this. Sergeant Montone, he's deadpan, he's low key, he's under the hammer. He's under the yoke of Mark Shepard, Peter Boyle, the facility commander, the administrator, the one who's bringing all the drugs in and allowing all this to happen, making it happen because that's his job, for the company, for Con-Am. And so he's in league with the bad boy, the big bad gangster. But Mad Magazine did a version of Outland, which I no longer have, but I did have at the time. And it was great. And he was called Sergeant Monotone, because James B. Sicking, who could have quite a good active voice, good vocalization and that, like, it'd be dead funny. He's completely monotone, I don't think we should do that. Well, anyway, you've got the Sagans going crazy with this poor girl, and like they're trying to get the access to the door, but in the meantime, he's gone through the air shafts, the ventilation ducts, with his shotgun. This film, the only firearms in this movie are shotguns, sawn-off shotguns, and they are Browning 2000s, all of them. We'll talk more about these. And he's got one of these, and as they finally fire open the door, you've got Marshal O'Neill is trying to negotiate through the door. Like, you don't hurt her. If you hurt her, we will hurt you. Well, no, he says we will kill you. It's as simple as that. Like, and he's like, and this poor girl, there's a little bubble of blood from her throat because he's obviously stabbed her, and you get a little red bubble there, which is kind of like, oh no. And anyway, just as they open the door, Montone comes down through the like a vent, and like fucking blows him away. Oh, Stephen Baker against the wall, blown away. Like, our boy Sean Connery's like looking at the body and looking at Montone like, the fuck did you do that for? I said don't kill him. What the hell were you doing? And he's just like, he turned. I saw the knife. He's in league with Shepard. He's in the back pocket. He's been looked after. He's been paid to look the other way. Anyway, Marshal O'Neill will discover he's lost his wife and son now. They've gone off, and he has a few more transmissions with them, and there's a great, lovely moment where she says to him, like, "You're in trouble. I know you're in trouble." "I'm not in any trouble." "No, I know when you're in trouble." Again, an inference to what's happened before. He's been through maybe not many similar scenarios as this, but he's been in difficult situations where he stuck to his guns and probably put them in jeopardy as well. "No, you're in trouble. Just look after yourself and get that fucking shuttle and come and join us. Let's go to air. Fuck's sake. Stop pissing about." But he can't do that. He's a man of principle. He's a man of honour. He's a man of action as well. As you can hear. I'm going to take this back, this track. He begins to set up surveillance cameras to watch what's happening. He's learned from Lazarus that there's a drug being brought in, making them the workers hyper productive, but it's going to make them completely crazy. And it's only because he's took blood samples from the victims. Another guy called Kane, what's his name? Well, his name's Kane. Eugene Lipinski plays this poor guy called Kane who he doesn't hurt anyone, but he goes fucking doolally, and he goes into the big, where they all get changed into their suits to go outside and do their mining job, their welding, they're doing whatever, and the airlock door opens, and they've all got their air hoses on, and they're going like, "What's he doing? Hey, what are you doing?" You know, and he goes, and the door shuts, and he's waving. They're all banging on the door. He's going to go down the big elevator shaft, right the way down to the core of the mining, you know. But pressure will drop, and he's going to go, and they're all going, no, and he's just going, waving to him. He's going fucking doolally, and it's a great moment because at the bottom of the elevator shaft, you've got another crew who are waiting to come back up, and like the doors open, like that, and they all turn around and look in, and like, ah, he's turned inside out. Great. It's not a gory film, although there is gore in it, and it was a double A in this country of 15. It would be now, and still is now. It's normal categorization now to 15. But yeah, so he's took blood from these bodies. Why does no one check these bodies? Well, it's company procedure, and all. So he's learning. Sean Connery's learning that, look, the bodies just get shipped back, and like, but it happens a lot. So people are dying, people are committing murders, and like, does no one ever do this? Well, it's a pissant fucking peasant colony somewhere. No one cares. Well, I care. You know, I want some blood tests on this. You know, and that's when you find out this drug is being pumped in. So he's like, well, where's the drug coming from? Could it be manufactured here? And he went, no, there's no way you can manufacture it here. But it is a drug that can be, you know, created, but just you can't do it here. So that means it's coming in. It's coming in on the shuttles. Clearly it's coming in. So he'll begin his investigation, you know, into like, he'll approach Shepard, Peter Boyle, a fucking great Peter Boyle. Everyone loves Raymond. Taxi Driver, Young Frankenstein. Fucking one of the greatest actors. A monk. He was a monk for 2 years. 2 years. For some diocese. And then he realised, hang on a minute. I don't believe in this shit. I want to be an actor. So he fucked off and became an actor. And a brilliant actor. Played by bad health throughout his life. And died. Oh, hard. You know, he could have done so much more. Couldn't be a leading man. Weren't that good looking. But, you know, but he had a character actor. He was, you know, perfecto. And he's wonderful here. And he looks so much younger, obviously. He was 1981. He'd done Taxi Driver and a few other movies throughout the 70s, but bit of theatre work. But he's got his beard, and he's got a fat, smug face. He's a sleazeball. He's totally sleazy. In his apartment thing, his little sealed-in apartment, he's got like a projection wall and a golf machine, and he smacks the ball, hits the screen, and it goes. You know, I can hit a 9-iron, 950, whatever he fucking says. I don't know golf, and I've forgotten the quote, but I can do all this here. You know, our liquor isn't watered down. Our hookers are even good looking. You know. I work them hard, let them play hard. What are you after, Marshall? Because O'Neill is basically saying to him, like, look, I know something's going on. What's happening? He said, look. So you reckon there's drugs and all this? Well, they've sussed each other out now, and he's going like, look, if you're trying to doing all this to play the big hero and drive your price up, I'll think about it. Who's fucking paying the marshal? If Shepard and the company are, you know, in cahoots and they're paying his wage, that's a weird conundrum, isn't it? Shouldn't the federal district bloody, law enforcement be paying his money, which tells you that the law enforcement off Wales is totally in cahoots with the company. Alien all over it again, isn't it? It's like, look, if you're trying to drive your price up, then you're smarter than I think you are. But if you're not, you're trying to do this to take me down, then you're dumber than you look. It's like, what are you? And Sean Connery just goes like, I think I'm dumber. I love the standoff. It's ultra low key. There's no showboating in this movie at all. There's no great big grand standoffs. It's more realistic than that. These are older people, not volatile young hotheads, coked up and all that, like thinking they're gangsters, like fucking snarling and turn their guns sideways, which you don't ever do that. You'd be an idiot to do that. But hey, movies and games made that popular. So gangsters, wannabe gangsters, do that. And they miss. The one chance you've got if you run into these fuckers. But I love their little standoffs. But they're great. They're so low key, but so veiled with real threat. Because Sean Connery stands his own. He just he kind of laughs it off, and he does retreat into the shadows again, because he knows, as the movie goes on, we will know that no one will stand beside the Marshal. It's High Noon all over again. Gary Cooper in High Noon, Fred Zinnemann, goes around everybody in the town. Everybody. The mayor, the ex-marshal. You got Lon Chaney Jr. is in there as well, and he's great. It goes around everybody, and no one will stand by him. No one. Family, friends, well, not family, friends, and people he's looked after in the past will not stand by him. Only a kid will stand by him. And a guy, he's like, I'll stand by you, Marshal. And Gary Cooper's kind of like, look, you're blind, you're arthritic, and you can't walk. Don't worry about it. But thanks anyway. But in Outland, O'Neill, once he realises everything's gone to rat shit, he genuinely will ask, who can I count on any of you? He's met everybody. In the opening scenes, we see him meeting all probably all the different divisional heads of, the various facets of the administration and facility. He goes in and he asks, who can I count on? And they've all been friends to him at the initial party, in the initial sort of get to know each other. And they're all going putting their heads down like that. And one of them goes like, but what about your men? And Sean Connery goes, my men are shit. Because we've now learned that James B. Sicking, Sergeant Montone, is in on the act as well. Because our boy O'Neill, Sean Connery, has set up surveillance cameras and he's watching in the rec room, the big saloon bar. And he's seen, there's Shepherd, there's these two other guys who are clearly up to no good, and you've got Montone is there as well, and he's like, oh fuck, because you can, even with no sound on it, you can hear, you can sense what they're saying, and Montone's like, oh yeah, we're gonna take him down. Yeah, oh, okay, I get on this. And him and Montone, especially since Carol and the son have left our district marshal, and he's just sitting there having pizza on his own, and replaying the message over and over and over again. It's quite sad, actually. It's brilliant and very poignant. But they play squash and doing all this in super sweaty grey bloody kit. Don't wear grey when you're playing a sweaty sport. It looks really, really ill. And it's just how far are you in? To Montone, and James B. Sicking just goes not too far. I love the fact that Peter Hyams wrote this. It's brilliantly done. Script is superb. It's so direct, but it's so subtle as well. It's brilliant. He's like, how far are you in? Not too far. He doesn't try to defend himself at all. And I was like, look, what do you want me to do? And he's like, just what you've been doing. Take your money and look the other way. I don't want you, I want Shepard. Because Marshall O'Neill knows this is the guy in charge. I've got to take him down. You, a small fry. You'll fall wherever you fall. I'm not arsed about you, but just take your money, don't set me up, and fucking look the other way, like you've been doing all the while. And it's a lovely moment, but of course, Montone will be killed as well. Montone does tip off O'Neill, you know, food shipment, a little clue, food shipment. Where's the drugs coming in? They're coming on the shuttle, but where? They're coming on the shuttle all the time, a shuttle every month or so. But where are they being housed? Where are they being hidden? You know, food shipments. They're in there somewhere. Right, so Montone, he'll be found. He's been garroted, and it's a horrible. Comes out of a locker, and Sean Connery opens the locker, and like Montone comes out. When I was a kid, I thought he had a tennis ball in his mouth. That's what I thought. I thought, they choked him on a tennis ball? Really? Having since done a lot, been trained a lot, seen a lot, I realised, oh yeah. Oh, by the way, that is one of the most unpretty sights you're ever going to see, and that's how it looks as well. It swells the entire face, the tongue and all the gristle attached forces itself out of the mouth, and it is not good at all. And it's a great. It opens the locker and he goes, I can't do it, and it just it's horrific. And but you've also had a tremendous sequence before that, which is more of the sex in the laser tubes. Now where is what? Hang on, I need to. What track is it? Wait, 11. You've got O'Neill watching on surveillance cameras, and he sees the drug deals taking place, and he spots Spoter. That wasn't me misspelling for a Sparta. No, it was for Spoter. What's Spoter? Spoter is a trademark of Peter Hyams, the filmmaker. He has it in not all, but many movies. Either a character is called Spoter, or there's an advertising hoarding with Spoter on it, or it's a reference to someone called Spoter. Spoter's in here. And Spoter, played by Mark Boyle, no relation to Peter Boyle playing Mark Shepard, but Mark Boyle is this nefarious twat, and he's dealing the drugs. And of course, you got like Sean Connery's like on the TV screens, surveillance monitors, and he spots, right, he gets his Browning 2000, off he goes, down all the grill plates. It's all little tiny stairways, dead tightly because claustrophobic, but a big set, a very big set, built around all these tiny claustrophobic cubicles, people to their living quarters, the miners and all that, and corridors which are exposed to they're sealed in, but they're dangerous. You can uncouple these things, as we will do, and let the horrible broiling atmosphere come in and destroy you, and running down these things all the time. And you get this chase sequence. Peter Hyams is the best, I kid you not, the best director of chase sequences, be they on foot especially, but in cars as well, and sometimes both. He's amazing. did the film Busting in 1974, Elliot Gould, Robert Blake. I've discussed it before. I did a video about the two chase sequences and how fabulously directed they are, and how clever, and how just in your face, and you're running alongside them for long unbroken takes. Did a video and it got blocked. The fucking thing got blocked. But Busting is an amazing film. And in a lot of his movies, he has these elaborate chase sequences which take place. And in Outland, you get this. So Spota, not Sparta, Spota, will suddenly, as he's doing a bit of a deal at the lockers, we'll see Marshall O'Neill coming towards him. Starts running, pushing people left, right, centre, running up and down steps, running along gantries, running along corridors, running through people, leaping from one staircase to another, from the dormitories, across like that. And all the time, you've got Sean Connery following him, running the same pace, running behind him, but pushing people away. It's massively effective. You're really in there. You're like that, you can't breathe. Goldsmith's music is amazing. This ostinato builds up as they're running. By the way, when you run through, when you're chasing somebody, I've done, and when you're running from someone, which I've also done as well, you want people to be in the way. They're a great distraction as well. But if you're just running down a road, you're going to run out of breath. If you're moving through people, weaving it about, you catch your breath, you stop, you pause, your pursuer or the one you're chasing is going to stop and pause for breath as well. It's inadvertent. So it's you can catch people through these things. Whereas running down the street, if they're a fucking top flight Olympic runner, you've got no chance. But in crowds, you get your breath back because there's always, you've got to push people aside and you catch your breath. It stops you running, and your momentum and your adrenaline is so fucking supercharged. This film captures that so amazingly well. Spota does the leap across, and but Marshall O'Neill tries to. He leaps across, and it's Sean Connery's doing this as well, and he latches onto this other staircase, but he doesn't get his foot grip, and he drops off, and he lands on his ankles as well, which would be quite a bad thing. But he carries on. The filming of this is so fucking electrifying. You see them running down a corridor. The cinematographer on this movie was Stephen Goldblatt, not Peter Hyams. After this movie, Peter Hyams realised, look, I can do these things better. I know what I'm doing, and I want to do my I'll be DOP on everything after this. Not everything, but most of it. And he's exceptionally good. But I will say that Busting and Outland have the better chases than what he did later on. But anyway, and they end up in the canteen, the cafeteria, and Spota runs in, Spota goes in, and he's spilling people left, right, and centre. It's great. There must be like 30, 50 fucking stuntmen on this, and women, who are just getting pushed around, and he's leaping over tables and that, like, and he's got the drugs, and there's a big pan of like boiling fucking whatever's fried chicken, and he just goes, lashes in there, and of course, Marshall O'Neill needs the evidence. That's the evidence. So he's got to go, shit, put his hand in and drag it out. Big fight ensues. There's a big fucking glass bottle gets thrown at him and all that, at Marshall O'Neill. There's a fight, and like, he fucking smacked in the nose, and fucking Marshall O'Neill rams this Spota's head into the fucking side of the table, and he's fucking great. And but Spota gets a knife and slashes O'Neill's arm, and it's like, oh shit, and they get this fucking grappling fist fight. I'm getting out of breath myself because I'm describing it all. It's brilliant. But he kicks his gun away and all that, and Spota's gonna go for the knife, but our boy picks up his shotgun, the Browning 2000, and he's supposed to like that, and he just goes, Sean Connery, all the way around him, and get over. And he puts him in a sort of a zero-G sort of cryo cell thing, where they're in spacesuits and they're hanging in zero-G, and they're being pumped oxygen. And he's trying to get information out of him, but Spoter's going to give him nothing. But I say Spoter is a trademark thing of Peter Hyams, which is why I've done that. And I think I love filmmakers that have this umbilical cord that runs through their movies. You may never know what their reasons are for doing these things. Doesn't matter, but you pick up on it. It's nice. That's a directorial flourish, and that's kind of like Sam Raimi in the Oldsmobile. But we know why that's there. But it's in every fucking movie he makes. But it's nice, and it makes you look out for it as well. And you go, oh, I sussed it. It doesn't take you out the movie, because that's testament to how good these filmmakers are. You're not like, oh, forgetting the plot and forgetting the interactions. I'm looking out for this. Ooh, where is it? Oh, there it is. Oh, what have I missed? Shit. I spent half an hour looking for that, and now I've missed the entire plot. Good filmmakers can do this, and it works. And Hyams fucking does it, and it's brilliant. So Spoter got a really good fucking part in this as well. However, it doesn't last long. Come on, tough guy. As Sean Connery says to him, like, you're going to spill the beans. Next time he goes in there, his oxygen tube, Spoter's has been slit. So you see the blood dripping upwards, and his face has exploded onto the faceplate. A lot of facial explosions in this movie, and like Sean Connery walks in there, and it's all in darkness. It's one of the things which does date it is they pick up like a phone. It's like a phone receiver. Come on, Spoter, you're gonna talk to me. Puts the lights on, and like looks up, and like, shit. And that's when he finds out that Montone's been killed as well. He has met another drug dealer, Yario, played by Richard Hammett, because he realised that the drugs are coming on the food shipments. So he goes down to the big food shipment locker, and he's in there prowling around. This is O'Neill, Sean Connery, finds evidence, and as he finds it, a garrote comes over. A garrote, yeah, Montone. And it's like, and in a quite a violent, horrible sequence, because Sean plays it really well. He's like, and he gets put on the deck, and you think, has he just killed Sean Connery? You can't do that. You can't do that. He hasn't done it, because next thing you know, as Yario begins to inspect, the meat hanging there, like make sure everything's okay, he gets his face fucking slammed against this frozen slab of meat, and his fucking teeth fly out. It's like, oh, and then Connery puts him on the deck. Fucking, I'm sure he puts a boot in as well, like at some point. Looks like he does, and I would. Gotta make sure, haven't you? And he takes off like a collar around him, because he knows this is a tack that they're using. He's got a big thick collar around his neck. Do police forces have anti-garroting throat collars? I know people that do employ them, but they're never used, because you're never going to be in an environment that's going to actually happen to you, I know all the other narcs in America, the ones who deal with the Mexican drug cartels, I know that they're going, well, actually, we do. Yeah, I know, but it's not exactly commonplace, is it? But he does. He takes off this collar, this big stiff collar, which protected him. And he goes to see Shepard again, like, and Shepard's playing golf and all that, like, And he's going like, I found something interesting in the food shipment locker today. 250 pounds of hamburger named Yario. Well, you've been a busy boy, haven't you? You know, you're a dead man. You know that? Do you hear me? You're a dead man. And Connery's just like, I hear you. Because what did he do? Montone's gone. No one's going to stand beside fucking disco shit, like, it's bizarre, isn't it? No one's going to stand by Marshall O'Neill anymore, because he's intercepted interstellar conversations between Shepard and the company, Conham, and whoever the big intermediary is with the big bosses. So we've got a problem here, and O'Neill uses his powers to decipher the fucking encrypted code, and it's like, it's Shepard saying, I want 2 hitmen, I want your best men to come out here, take him down. Oh, what? If you've got shit going on in your turf, this won't look good. Oh, don't worry, it's nothing, we can handle this. Well, who's the target then? It's the Marshal here. The Marshal? Are you fucking kidding? You know, if you get this wrong, the next guys who come out to whack someone, they're coming out to kill you. It's like, oh, no. No one's going to stand beside him. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. So, and of course, O'Neill, our boy, has intercepted that and now knows the 2 hitmen are coming for him on the next shuttle. So, high noon. The train in Fred Zimmerman's movie with Gary Cooper is coming in at noon with a gang of killers on it. Da-da. And he's got a... So this is where you get the moment where he goes around and asks, can I rely on anyone? Anyone going to help me? And no one's going to help him. He even asks, he has Sergeant Ballard. After Montone is killed, you've got Clark Peters playing Sergeant Ballard. He gets the extra stripes. And O'Neill's like in his office, come here. And Ballard comes through and he's going like, how many can I depend on? And he goes like, I'm not sure. What about you? And he's like, okay, at least we know where we stand. Off you fuck. And I love this, you know. My life has been shaped by events, but also by movies in many ways. Probably the 2 mirrored themselves in various different capacities. And I remember him like, Marshall O'Neill, it's like, okay, now we know where we stand. I haven't been through exactly the similar sort of thing, but I've been close to where people, you can't rely on them. You're going to go through something and you can't rely on them. They're not going to stab you in the back, or, you know, they're not going to turn against you, but they're not going to be with you during what's going to transpire. And I've been through that, and part of me understands why people don't do that. I get it, you know, but I also, like, I wouldn't let anyone down. I wouldn't. But these guys, they're on the take, so they're against him. They don't want a boss that's going to do the proper job. Fucking hell, a boss that does the correct thing. Really? They couldn't do it in 1981 in this movie, although it was set in 2045 or whenever it's set. But we've always had this for decade after decade. Authority figures are lying to you and will set you up and drop you in the shit. We all know this. I've encountered it too many times to mention. But when he says, you know, can I count on you? I was like, okay, we know where we stand. I've been through that. Not the same scenario, but I knew, right, I'm on my own. Don't worry. And in a way, that seals the deal. That makes you realise, well, not everyone can do this. I'll be honest, you know, but I'm the mindset. if I'm gonna do this, if I've set my mind to it, and I'm not gonna back down. I'm gonna go through with it. See, I'm talking around things, but it's like it knows. You're not gonna mention that, are you? No, I'm not. I'm not. But up here is where you make all your decisions, your moral decisions, everything you're gonna do, right or wrong. You make it up here, and then you deal with it down here, and that's what happens. And but I've encountered this where people will not stand beside you, will not do it, but I'm still here, and I did the right thing, and I won. So, you know, and Connery does this in this movie, but he does sort of ask for help. Now, in High Noon, the Gary Cooper Western, he goes on everybody. I said before, didn't I? He goes on everyone, and they all turn him down, apart from like a kid and a fucking cripple. But he still wins the day. In this, you've only got the old aged medical officer, Francis Steenbergen, Sternberger, Schnedelberger, whatever her fucking name is. You've only got her. And she's brilliant because she watches what happens. He knows there's 2 assassins coming on the next shuttle, so he's waiting for that. You've got the countdown. It's tick tock, coming down, and it arrives early as well. Fucking bastard! But he's put shotguns in different compartments and corridors. He's had time to prepare. But he goes into the sleazy saloon and has a drink and looks around, but everyone's just gone silent. You know, even the shaggers have stopped shagging, you know, in their flotation tubes, because no one's gonna stand by him. And he's kind of like, okay, fuck all of you. It's very empowering, that, actually. You know, you think it would work the other way. It doesn't. Once you know what you do, once you've got your mind made up, and you know you're on your own. Once you know that, that should be a real empowering tool. I'm on my own. Well, I know what I can do. I know what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do it. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It liberates you, and I can see that in this movie. Connery does it really well. He does look for help. He does. It's a logical thing to do. Have I got someone I can rely on? You know, but shit, I haven't. Right? Okay. But I'm still going to fight these fuckers. I'm not going to go down whimpering. I'm going down fighting. See, you can see how emotive this movie is to me. I do attune to so much of what you see in it, and it does it accurately. It's a great character study of an honourable man doing his job, doing his duty, even though he now knows that his duty is worthless because the company doesn't respect him. They've shit on him and they're going to kill him. But anyway, so, right. The finale of the movie. The killers arrive. And who have you got? The killers. When they finally arrive, like, they're watching the tick down and all this, and the shuttle arrives. Great miniature work again, but brilliant lighting, brilliant photography again. The little blinking light in the distance, and then suddenly it gets bigger and bigger, and it's reversed because it's actually the shuttle landing. You know, it's fucking superb how they've done this. And he watches, he's scrutinising everyone getting off. I always thought there's not many people getting off. Obviously, it's going to be a shuttle change, a shift changeover. People who are leaving their tour, who haven't gone doolally and blown their brains out and fucking, you know, done all sorts. Not many people come off that, but one comes off and another one comes off, and they sit at an intersection, and they start bolting together their Browning 2000s, and they're putting telescopic sights on them. Now, I know I talk about this a lot, especially when it comes to John Carpenter movies, by putting telescopic sights on revolvers. You can, you don't. And for target shooting, you can do it, but that's ridiculous. Not in a combat situation. never going to work. And submachine guns or machine pistols. An Ingram Mac 10, putting a telescopic sight on that is fucking ridiculous, you know. But they put scopes on. They've got Browning 2000s as well, 12 gauge shotguns, sawn off again. But they've got scopes on them. Now you can put scopes on a shotgun because they can use it as, it can be used, well, especially long barreled, as a rifle. So you can take aim at something far distant. Well, it just gives you an aiming device, a better one. But shotguns aren't renowned for having scopes on. So I don't know if that was like a sort of directorial flourish there, I don't know, but make it look a bit more special. But they're the same fucking gun. So anyway, these guys have arrived, and one is played by P.H. Moriarty. P.H. Moriarty is great. He's in The Long Good Friday. You know, he's razors. His body's been ripped up by attacks in the past, working for like Harold Shand, Bob Hoskins in The Long. But you guys know me and how much I love that movie. And P.H. Moriarty's brilliant in that as razors, and because he uses blades on victims, and he's fucking great. Sadly, he's also in Jaws 3. Gavner, hey Gavner, oh Gavner, yeah, oh. But he's also in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, and he's brilliant in that. And I do love the guy. I think he's fabulous. He's in other movies as well, but he's fabulous. And he plays one of the hitmen in this. So he's just done Long Good Friday and then does this. And you've got the other guy. The other guy is played by Doug Robinson. I do not know him at all. Older, sort of, you know, obviously roughneck. Probably an American, again, living in London. I'm just saying that. I don't know for a fact. And these guys arrive, they tool up, and off they go. They're looking for the marshal. They've been told no one's going to defend him, so don't worry about that. Just take him out. So O'Neill is like, right, I've got to get tooled up and like fucking get this sorted out, go and kill these guys. And the finale sequence, really, it's a great final act. The battle takes place in and outside of the facility. So you have lots of stalking, and you know, and you can see through the little sort of digital sights that they've got. It's ticking down either side, and they've got the crosshair. Big distraction that, by the way. Crosshairs is fine. Bang, got you. But they do all this, and there's crossfire taking place, all shotgun stuff, so it's a big blast and all that. And people on upper floors are shooting down, and he's shooting back up, so panels are blowing out everywhere. He will get shot in the arm, our boy, O'Neill. He'll run down corridors, he'll leave blood trails behind and be pursued. Oh, the blood there, right, I'm following him. Obviously, no one else, they're all staying in the rec room, you know, fucking big rec room, like 12,000 people crammed in there, like, I know what I'd be doing. I'd be in that one of them big blue tubes, shagging, going out, like, I'll have a shotgun as well, like, but I'd be shagging, I'll give it loads, and may as well, got nothing to lose, haven't you? And he manages to corner P.H. Moriarty in a corridor. Now the thing is, he's been shot in the arm, and suddenly out the blue, Frances Steenbergen comes in and as Dr. Lazarus, because she's been watching what's happening, and she is on his side. She's the only one who sided with him. So a big departure from High Noon. He has got someone who's working with him, who knows stuff, can see stuff, and can genuinely help him. So he's at the end of a corridor, one of these air duct corridors, and she comes running down, like, and the door opens, and he's about to like fucking slug whoever comes, and she's like, ah! She's like, what the fuck are you doing here, like, you know, like, so like, you're heading right for them. Well, you're injured. Well, they missed the artery, but I'll give you a tourniquet and all that, like. So she did a bit of a patch up. And he said, like, well, wait, she said, what are you going to do? I'm going to go outside. Outside. Capital O for outside. Right. So he puts his spacesuit on. I want you, lure them in, and I'm going to fucking uncouple them. However these corridors are patched together, I'm going to uncouple these things, and I'm going to fucking blow them apart. Which is what he does. Does that exact thing to P.H. Moriarty. And but she leads the way. And he runs after it, he's fucking shooting at it, and she's trying to shut the door, like that. But Sean Connery's on the outside in his big spacesuit, and he uncouples, all the air vents and that, like, and it blows open a hatch, a little seal, and suddenly you've got like P.H. Moriarty going like with his shotgun, and his face just goes woo. One down. But now he's outside. So it's like he heads to the greenhouse area, which it kind of reminds you of Silent Running with the sort of ecological spaceships. It's gone very bright. The sun has returned. I mentioned Silent Running about ecological spaceships trying to transport forests to save them from a diseased planet Earth, and the sun came out. The sun. And anyway, so Sean Connery's outside, and you've got all these gantryways and sort of walkways with these vertical steel plates, and the hitman. The second hitman is now in there looking around, and it's all very green in there. That's a greenhouse, and his sights are going. Did that inspire Aliens? Maybe. I don't know. It does look pretty decent, but I wouldn't want to use one of those sights. Never. But he's looking around, giving it loads. Sean Connery pulls up one of these plates and just lets it drop, but it's sort of not 0G, it would float, wouldn't it, but it's low gravity, so it goes like that down the side, but the movement catches the hitman's eye and he goes. Now I'll be honest, this is the moment in the movie which I go like, are you fucking kidding me? These are meant to be the best. We've been told when Shepard orders the hitmen, I want the best, and he's going like, you're getting the best hitman. That's all you need. This hitman fucking shoots at something which he hasn't clearly seen, and shoots through the fucking, the outside exterior, surface, causing vacuum. And he's like, he gets fucking blown out this fucking glass wall into space to explode. What a dickhead! Professionals. I can understand P.H. Moriarty falling for like, hang on, who's that? I'm running after you. You're gonna lock me in here. Oh, fuck. And then he's stuck. He's trapped there. Actually, they're both shit, really, aren't they? But this guy takes being a shit hitman, a shit man. He's a shit man, basically. And gets blown out into oblivion. What a dick shot, And anyway, so O'Neill thinks, hey, I've killed them too. Laughing, gonna go back home, have some pizza, watch my wife's tearful message again, and then go and kick the ass off Mark Shepard. Except there's someone else out there. Ballard. Clark Peters, the one he gave the sergeant's stripes to after Montone got. And he's out there with a helmet on because he's met beforehand. He walks in as Francis Steenbergen is going like on the monitors. They're going to so and so, heading the greenhouse, blah 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 blah. and like suddenly she goes, and it's Ballard there, and he goes like, hey, where's the marshal? What? And she assumes, are you on his side? Yeah, I want to help him, yeah, or whatever. And I think he's outside by the greenhouse. Of course, this is what happens. So next thing, Ballard's got a helmet on, all the lights come on, like spacesuit, off he goes, and you've got like Sean Connery walking down some gantry, and sudden nonchalance, and then suddenly shotgun blast. Fucking hell, you know. So begins a final fight between these two, leaping from gantry to gantry, fighting with each other, rolling around, and like dropping down. And it's obviously very electrified, a lot of this, because as they fall down these things, there's sparks flying everywhere, and they're getting sort of semi-frazzled at the same time. And they land on another gantry, and like Connery's hanging on like that, and this fucker's there, but he manages to get Ballard's air hose, and it's like, oh, and the big mask, oh, tumbles down, frazzling, and then goes off into space, and then goes and winks out, and a big flash, gone. This is that bit, by the way. Or rather, it isn't. Jerry Goldsmith scored this movie, but Peter Hyams didn't like the final action cue for this that Goldsmith delivered. So he turned to Morton Stevens. Morton Stevens had worked with Goldsmith before. And look, because they couldn't bring Goldsmith was doing what was he doing? He was doing another movie. I forgot what the movie is now. So he couldn't come back to rescore it. So he went, well, Morton Stevens is a great guy. So, and he knows you very well. So he knows your stuff. So they reinterpreted the score that he'd done for the final fight between O'Neill and Ballard, and I think it sounds great. I don't have an issue with it at all, but it's not what Goldsmith did. If you got the full score, which I am playing disc 1 of that right now, you have the full score, and you have the original versions of what Goldsmith did, and some of the outtakes and stuff like and other ideas. And this version is better, without a doubt. And I think I'm not always a fan of people chopping and changing a composer's scores. National Philharmonic Orchestra, he was working with Goldsmith, had a bad time with Alien with Ridley Scott and editor Terry Rawlings, and yeah, really, and same happened again on Legend for Ridley Scott and Terry Rawlings, and he did not like that, and it really had a bit of a pisser, a bit of a cloud upon Goldsmith's own personal ideology, as it would do. But predominantly the score for Outland is Goldsmith's score. But we're on this, before we finish the movie off, while we're on the score, this is lovely, this is the final payoff. Those shaggers in the light tubes in the sleazy saloon, they wanted like electro pulsating fucking, it was the 80s, electro synth stuff was coming, was actually huge at the time. Can you do some of this? Goldsmith had done loads. He'd done massive electro stuff beforehand. Look at Logan's Run, for God's sake. And he tried to do sexy stuff for this and pop stuff, and they didn't like it. It didn't work. So they brought in Morton Stevens, and Morton Stevens delivered what you hear in the movie, and it's better. It is better, I'll be honest. Goldsmith is gold all round. Horner James Horner, John Williams, John Barry, and Goldsmith are the titans. Oh, Max Steiner. Let's not forget Max Steiner. But Goldsmith is my favourite composer by sheer virtue of the amount of scores of his that he's done, which I love more than anybody else's. But he is versatile, incredible, and dynamic, interesting, mysterious, clever, seductive, and just beautiful, melodic, but experimental as well. But his experiments with synth and electronica was great. Peaked with Logan's Run, I would say, and then he tried it again with where are we going with this now? Runaway with, oh my god, Tom Selleck, and I thought it was wretched. I've never hated a score by Goldsmith before, but I hate that score. I think it's absolutely wretched because he doesn't know what he's doing with it, and it doesn't sound right at all. He would manage to bring in electronica to symphonics and full orchestra throughout many movies from that point onwards, like Total Recall and The Haunting and 13th Warrior and The Mummy. So many, he'd do it so many times and it'd be great. But that's a combination, that's a hybrid, and it worked. But doing it, purely electronic, it didn't work for him. I don't think. But so, how's the film end then? Well, the film ends. He's killed the two hitmen, and he goes back into the sleazy saloon, and there's Shepherd. Peter Boyle is sitting there, fat, sleazy, in his white fucking workies and his fucking baseball cap on, and his big fat face, but in the shadows. And he comes in, and he's holding his arm. He's been injured, don't forget, like. And everyone's kind of like, it's stunned silence. You've got no electro shagging taking place in the tubes. And he comes in and he approaches Shepherd at his select table. And Shepherd just kind of gets up like, and he's like, Shepherd. Oh, fuck it. Fucking punches him, sends him over the table and into the seats behind, and then just walks out. And then sends a message to his wife saying, I'm coming home. I'm coming. Save that ticket. I'm looking forward to sleeping with you for a year. That's the journey back to her. And it's a lovely payoff. But he does see Frances Sternhagen again. And she's going like, I didn't do too bad for an old girl, did I? And he's like, you did good. And it's a nice payoff. And that's the end of the film. That's basically it. So, Frances Sternhagen's character was actually meant for an actress called Colleen Dewhurst. It was written by Peter Hyams as for a male cast member, a bloke, because it wasn't meant to be a romantic interest, and it isn't in the movie. It's not at all a love interest. But his wife has gone, and he's now left with her, and she's an anachronistic, antagonistic, complete curmudgeon of a bitch who also knows her job. And I respect you because you don't like these cunts any more than I do. So, maybe I can work with you, but we're not friends. But I sense something in you, and I like that as well. I think that's a great element of it. People don't always work together because they're mates, they get along. They work together because, I respect what you do and what you know, and what I know and what I do works very well with you. Together, we can get the job done. But afterwards, we're not mates. We won't frequent the same bars, together. We're not going to have breakfast together. that happens, and that's a necessity. Sometimes when people are too close, things don't work out. Things can go wrong. You get too emotionally involved in stuff, and like it doesn't work out. So again, there's another realistic element to this movie which works. Nice and shrill there. Little outbursts from Mr. Goldsmith, Mr. Jerry G. Cheers, John. That sun's really coming out now, isn't it? So I think that camaraderie is very genuine, very affecting, and works. She says to him like, look, I want to stick around because all hell's going to break loose now. I want to see it happen. Well, here's the thing, folks. The ending of Outland maybe is the other, not stupidity, but it doesn't make anything clear. He's killed the two hitmen. He's punched Shepard, the company administrator. He hasn't took down the company. He's on a distant moon. He's been booted out there for other things by speaking his mind and sticking up for the law. How does he actually win this one? I don't think he does, really, because they'll dress it up. It's all well and good that Dr. Lazarus says like, well, you know, I want to stick around and see what happens. You know, it's going to be fun around here now after what you've just done. But is it? Is it really? The company's just going to fucking, you know, well, they'll cover it all up anyway, and they could take him out on his trip to the space station to meet his wife. So there'll be no evidence whatsoever. All evidence sent by his computers back to Earth or whatever, you know, will be just shut down. They're in charge of it all. So I don't know. I don't know the resolution is that effective. It works in the movie. It's a nice, soft payoff. Shepard. Oh, fuck it. Which is nice. It is nice, but what does it prove? Nothing. Does Shepard get sacked? Does Shepard get killed by the company? Well, you don't know. And there's no evidence pointing to either way. There's more evidence pointing to the fact throughout this movie that O'Neill will be taken out on the way back home because he's rocked the boat again, and I don't know. But isn't that great that you're left with this sort of like, you walk out the cinema, well, as I did as a kid, and you thought like, oh, he saved the day. He's brilliant. Oh, he's brilliant. I want to be old with a beard and have receding hairline. And now look at me. They're the last things I want right now. Well, no, I want a beard that you can see, but mine's going all like fucking uber white. I'll be fucking Santa Claus. You know, this year's fucking Christmas celebrations. I'll be fucking Father Christmas in my big white beard. By the time it worked, I thought he's won. But now you watch it again, you go, what have you won? What have you won? You've won nothing. Hopefully you're going to get back to your wife, but do you really think the company's going to let you? You've got months and months of travelling between Io and space station, and then space station and then Earth. You know, it's just, they could do anything to you. I don't think it's a happy ending. It is on a surface level, but it's not when you think deeper about it. Well, there you go, folks. I bet some of you have thought about this. If you're massively into Outland, you will have gone through all of this. Let's go through some of the other stuff as well. Right, Peter Hyams brought in production crew from Alien. He wanted his film to look like the Alien universe, the blue-collar lived-in universe. So the miniature work, the model work was done by Martin Bauer. The costume was done by John Mollo. Talk more about it in a minute. Set design by Stuart Rose. The corridors, the buildings, the structures, the interior environment looks like anything born out of the Alien universe. It looks like that. John Mollow's costumes are exactly the similar sort of thing. Baseball caps and just flight suits and just workaholic flight suits and things. Trainees and plimsolls. Workies in an environment like on a ship. Very similar to being on a ship. An aircraft carrier destroyer. Very, very, very similar. An aircraft crew as well. Very, very similar. John Mollo. John Mollo worked on Star Wars. My dad answered the call from John Mollo to supply German helmets from the Second World War. My dad for new viewers, which there may be somebody who's still sticking around. John Mollo, my dad, who is not John Mollo, Big Kilt Papa, was a military historian and military collector of militaria, and I grew up in a house full of bullets, badges, belts, muskets, rifles, swords, shields, suits of armour, tunics from the Zulu War, tunics from the Crimean War, tunics from the Napoleonic Wars, helmets and battle fatigues from the Second War, from every single army imaginable. I grew into that household way behind my brothers and my sister by a good 12 years behind the next one from me. And they didn't like any of that, but I did. I loved it. So I like American stuff. I want the American Civil War and the American Indian Wars, and I love the Zulu Wars. And oh my God, my dad had tons of Zulu War stuff. So I've inherited a fair bit of that. But he hated American stuff, and I got into Vietnam, and I started buying, and because I knew all his mates, I knew all the contacts. So back in the early 80s to mid 80s, I was getting tons and tons of stuff. So our house was full of all this, but a lot of this stuff had gone, and it had gone to movies. John Mollo asked for people who had German helmets from the Second World War. My dad had tons. Can you send them out, because the Stormtrooper helmets were going to be based upon the German Stormtrooper helmet, basically, and Darth Vader again modelled on that. Send a few out. So my dad did, and also German Nazi insignia, because the Imperials in Star Wars, it's very Germanic, it's very Nazi. So my dad sent tons of stuff out. Never got any of it back. And for the film Zulu Dawn, my dad supplied pith helmets, red tunics, Martini Henry rifles, so they could copy them and make props out of all these things, and just mass produce them. Again, got some back from that, but not everything. And and then he was in a bridge too. My dad was in a bridge too far, but he's cut out the frame. And well, again, it hurts that, because my dad was so invested in that movie and Second World War and the Battle of Arnhem, Operation Market Garden. My dad was so massively into that it hurt that suddenly he's removed from the frame because of the way that they cut the film. He's actually off the shot, the scene that he's in, which is a long scene as well, and he's missing for the entire duration because they just trimmed the frame there. And he supplied uniforms for it, for fuck's sake. But John Mollo, who did Star Wars, who did all the things I just mentioned, and he did the costume design for Outland, and it's again workmanlike, it's blue collar, and it fits directly in with Alien and the Alien sensibility. Just casual gear, slightly military perhaps, epaulets and shoulder insignia and badge insignia, cap insignia, and but it's a lived-in quality. The other trademark, of course, in the movie is Peter Hyams using natural light. He hates having studio lights. If you're in a dark corridor and you haven't got a torch, you should be pitch black. And he does that. He does it in all his movies. The only light you've got in a movie, Peter Hyams, is the light that the person, they've got a desk light on, there's a light coming through a window, there's a neon light somewhere. It's that. He's not lit it via studio set lights. And you've got it loads and loads in Outland. There's tons of very dark scenes of Sean Connery sitting on his own or looking at like computer readouts and, well, watching his message from his wife. And it's him lit by a computer screen, a desk light. That's all it is. And I love that because it takes you into a realistic environment in an ultra out there sort of set and design. But everything in this film looks real, looks used, looks lived in. Like Alien, again, they took the impetus from Alien, and I presume Star Wars. Star Wars has the lived in quality, busted down, high tech, but you know. I love Outland. I love Conan. I say I've got the Nostromo cap for Brett. I want the Federal District fucking Marshal for O'Neill. I want his cap, and I want the Conan t-shirt or a Conan cap. You can get these fuckers, but they cost a bit. But I really want them. Outland really is a special movie. It hit me at a certain age. What? It'd be 81. So what would I be? What would I be? I was born in 69. Do the maths. See, I'm British, so I said do the maths. You guys, stateside, go do the math. We make it plural, maths. But I absolutely adored it. I saw it with the family as well, because it had been reviewed. Barry Norman reviewed it for film 81, and it come out in London. But although in 1981 I did go and see Escape from New York with my dad at the premiere. My dad took me that. I've discussed that so many times. This movie came out and we saw it parochially, just our local cinema, the Phoenix Cinema, and we all sat there, a load of us, all the family was all there, a lot of my mates were there, and it was fucking amazing, and I was absolutely agog with it. The space western aspect was tremendous. Not the first film to be a space western, although it's touted as being that. Hammer got there first. Hammer got there first with Moon 02, with James Olsen from Andromeda Strain. James Olsen, yeah. Moon 02. I've done a video on that actually. Go back and check. But that's a genuine space western. But this is as well. You can always argue that Star Wars is a space western, but it's not really. It's a space fantasy. It's not a western, you know. Han Solo is the western aspect of it, but you've got so much else going on. Pseudo-religion and fucking all sorts. But Outland is a remake of High Noon, but does its own thing as well. Its hero is, I would say, not as pathetic as Gary Cooper. That, oh god, purists are going to, what? How dare you? Gary Cooper goes on everybody. He literally, he's begging people to help him. The big Tam ain't doing that. He's like, no, you can count on. Okay, all right. And he goes into the cafeteria, the canteen, the club area for the bigwigs of all the different divisions. You know, like, who can I count on? What about your men? My men are shit. You know, just walks out. And you know what? I admire that. He's like, well, I'm not. Connery doesn't beg to anyone. He does. Oh, can I count anyone? Is anyone going to actually help me? You all know what's going on. You all know. You're all in on it. If I win, I'm going to take him down, and you'll be all right. If I win and take him down, you don't help me, then I could incriminate all of you. You know, but they all expect him to die. And you know, if rightly or wrongly, if you're left in that predicament, you've got to. You can't whimper and kowtow and, oh, please save me, hide me, hide me, hide me. No, you've got to fight fire with fire. You've simply got to. You've got to do it. And I think Connery does a fantastic job of measuring this, of getting it right. Look, I can't trust any of you fuckers, but I can trust myself. I can put shotguns. He does hide shotguns in certain compartments in sort of the corridors, so he's got other fallbacks to come back to, which I think is a great sort of, you know, idea, great tactic. But he believes in himself. His fight, his battle, his chase with Spota is outstanding. I need that evidence. I'm going to put my hand into fucking boiling broth to get this out, and then gets attacked and beaten again. But he takes him. He can kill Spota, and quite, you know, legitimately so as well. Got a feeling I would have done that. I'd have done a RoboCop on him, you know, destroying Officer Murphy. I'd have blown Spota's kneecaps off, his arm, stood over him. I wouldn't have done that. But Sean's different. And alright, Sean in a spacesuit. He's great. It's a great movie. Outland is a tremendous movie. It's atmospheric. Irony there. It's brutal. It's exciting. It's got a huge sense of suspense and build up to a climactic finale of Showdown, which is still pretty damn good despite the stupidity of at least one of the hitmen. But the little weird camaraderie between him and Frances Sternhagen is amazing. She's tremendous. She is tremendous in the role. It's a crazy role for an older girl. I'm older than her now. I'm older now than she was when she made it. Although she does look even older again. I'm pretty certain of that. But I'm looking through whiskey eyes. I look in the mirror and I see Brad Pitt. Everyone else just sees splat shit, you know. But Outland is a hugely important movie which gained a cult following, and it didn't do great guns critically it did, but commercially it didn't make a lot of money. But it gained great good reviews and has a huge cult following, and people who love Alien do tend to like, well, you know, Outland's part of the same universe because it looks the same. They use the same people. Oh, I forgot to mention, Jesus, God Almighty, Introvision. Introvision was the thing pioneered for this movie. Introvision was a way of formulating fore, mid and background photography with miniatures and live action in camera. So in this movie, you've got, especially in the finale, you've got people moving around these spatial structures, the mining corridors and armatures around the mine shaft itself. And you've got live action people in spacesuits moving around these things and clambering over them. But you've got miniatures, front, mid and background. and live people walking around in between them. It looks amazing. It looks really, really good. It got used in quite a lot of movies. This is the first movie they ever did it in, and it looks tremendous. They did it in Rambo 3 as well, and a load of other movies. Under Siege as well, I think did it as well, and a lot, albeit briefly, but I think they used it more in this movie than any other. But it looks, those final scenes look incredible. They're really, really good. Yeah, it's obvious, but it's still, it takes you, you believe what you're seeing. There's no Xenos sporting about and spitting acid. There's no laser beam jetting across the sky, you know, the cosmos. You've got people clambering clumsily around superstructures, and you've got explosions, and you've got fights, but it's sort of slowed down, and it works. The whole thing works. Outland is an amazing movie. You've seen my collection here. The original soundtrack release with Capricorn 1, both done by Jerry Goldsmith, both directed by Peter Hyams. There's that. The original vinyl for Outland is there. The full expanded score, the full score, is here. Alan Dean Foster's novelization is there. The photo novel is there, which is fucking awesome. And I've got the Alien photo novel as well. Yeah, I know. I've got many others, but Alien and Outland were just genius. When you were a kid, fucking, you got these. You didn't have them on video, but wow, you got these books instead. The Blu-ray there. What else have we got? Oh, other shit in Chernobyl, you know. Peter Boyle, brilliant actor. A monk for 2 years. But he's conversational. He won't do anything which is overtly crazy. I know everyone loves Raymond, and he's big and brash and that, but it's not. It's actually very measured. It's very in character. You got to look at things like Red Heat, when he plays, you know, the police captain, and you got Danko, the Russian copper, Arnie Schwarzenegger. You know, it's just like, you know, I was very wrong about the downside, you know, and he's, yeah, lock and load. It's just, it's brilliant. Peter Boyle in this film is the least overt, nasty bad guy I've ever seen. He's a guy that I could work for. Oh, what? So I'll work like fuck. I get paid a lot, and I can have a lot of fun as well. Okay. I'm not taking your fucking drug, but I'll do what I have to do. You see, this is where I can't become the federal district marshal, you know, for outer space. You see something going wrong. You see somebody being abused. You see someone hurting from this shit. Like, then you do something. But if it's working for you, you're going to put up with it. Mark Sheppard he's that kind of guy, that kind of boss. They're like, hey, everyone, just have fun. Have fun. Unless you know what's going on, you're not going to do anything against him. Why would you? You're having fun. He's the great boss. And he plays it that way. He's not super sinister. In fact, when he calls in the hitmen, he knows that they say to him, like, if this goes wrong, the next people coming to kill someone, they're coming to kill you. He's like, no, it won't go wrong. You know. So again, that finale, how does it work out? How does it pan? I said before, didn't I? you seem to think that O'Neill wins the day, but I don't know. The company is gonna fucking stop him. All he did was punch the big bastard in the face. That's it. Prove the point to everybody else. Prove the point that I will stand for my values. You guys will not. I will stand for my values, my principles, my honour. Which is great, of course. A rare commodity. But will he survive the flight back? I don't know. He's going to go back and, do reports. I presume he's done reports, but they'd be intercepted, wouldn't they? The fucking company's got all sorts of shit. They can intercept all that. If he could intercept the calls between Shepard and the company or the intermediary to get the hitmen out there, then they can do the same to his reports going back to any federal establishment. And you do get the impression that there's, the marshal doesn't, in the past, have done fuck all. He even says to him, like, Shepard says to him, like, the last marshal here, everything ticked over nice and quiet, didn't cause any problems. Because he's in the fucking, he doesn't care, doesn't want to rock the boat. He's probably getting a bit of a payback as well. But no, our boy is a man of honour. So that can't happen. As usual. Folks, Outland is an outstanding movie. I love it to bits. It's low key and yet powerful in many ways. Visually, it's outstanding. A lot of outs in this, isn't it? And the effects still stand up today. The set design, the costumes, it's what you'd imagine it to look like. In 200 years' time, if we're on planets and mining and doing stuff, if we aren't already, we're just fucking wearing t-shirts and fucking trainers. And of course you will. If you're parading around these things, you're going to look like that. It won't be all gleaming white suits, and like fucking bizarre skin-fitting things. It won't be comfort. But porn tubes, and let's be honest, there are things called porn tubes. There is a site, porn tube. I've heard. But you've got like these columns of people shagging and writhing around, and it is great. Honestly, it's great. But no one's actually asked about these things either. And that's a clever thing as well. It's like, we just see this all the time. Like, what the hell? What's the point? Right, folks. I've covered Intravision, and I've covered Pinewood Studios, cinematography, all the names of scientists and space explorers which they used. The brilliant chase sequence, which is outstanding. One of my favourite chase sequences ever. In fact, all my favourite chase sequences are done by Peter Hyams. Busting has got two, one on foot, one in car, ambulances. Racing ambulances. Who'd have thought it? The Presidio, this one, Outland. He has this capacity to make a chase dynamic and realistic with super choreography and camera movements. It all works, and it becomes super adrenalized and highly exciting, and it puts you in it, and you become breathless watching it. You're like Busting is still the best. Busting busts them all. Right, folks, I've been always showing Kilt-Man. Please, in the meantime, and it's ever outlandish in between time, please keep it kilted, keep it Celtic, and I'm going to see you all later. Maybe not quite. If you've stuck with this, you've enjoyed what you've heard, what you've seen, what you've learned, and if you have, genuinely, then it's dead simple. You subscribe, you like, you share. I don't make any money out of this, nothing at all, because I'm the idiot that just does it for fun. But I like to have a following, because we talk a lot of stuff beyond movies. We talk a lot of other things as well. But please do, if you're still here, do those 3 things: like, share, subscribe, and all that. And let's get the clan bigger, greater, larger. Unified, we can do things. Not saying what, but we can do things. I'm scaring myself now. Anyway, folks, if you find yourself on some mining colony off-world and there's ne'er-do-wells and problems, what do? Do you speak up? Do you bite your tongue? Or do you fight for values? What do? Or do you just take the money, keep quiet? Comment below. Let me know. I know what I'd do. What? If I keep me gob shut, I get whiskey. Okay. Gob. Whoop.